Hello, hello. So glad to have you join me today for today's meet and greet. Life happens, and so I'm really excited to have this conversation. Normally, I have it on Zoom, and it's an opportunity for business owners to meet and greet one another. But today, I just thought let's just make this go live because it's the summer. We have so many things going on, whether we're traveling or just getting some well deserved time off with a little staycation that we might be having in our homes. So I know all about needing a break and trying to get it in whenever we can fit it in. I still have 11 children at home out of our 15, and it can be chaotic with everyone's schedules, whether they're working, going to camps, or, other activities that are happening, parties and get togethers. It can just really be busy. And so, this is why I'm intentional with having a monthly meet and greet for people to connect, to figure out ways that they can collaborate, help promote events, and the list goes on with the things that we benefit from simply being intentional with spending time together. So, one of the things that we do with this monthly call is we have a question of the day. We break out into groups depending on the number of people that attend. And we answer this question and then come back together, to brainstorm or find ways that we can implement the topic for today or for each day that we decide to come together. So before I get into the question of the day, I think I should introduce myself because it is a meet and greet. So I am LaChelle, also known as America's Supermom. I'm the mother of 15 children, and I am a media strategist. I help you to monetize your gifts and messaging so that you can have a greater global impact in the world through different forms of media. I'm an author, a speaker, TV producer, all around the topic of mental wellness. I overcame a 13-year journey with depression, and I was hospitalized 3 times. And I have learned to turn that journey into my superpower, allowing me to connect with other business owners and mothers who are struggling in silence with a lot of things that may be overwhelming, causing burnout, just not having a strategy, a way that to show up as their authentic selves and be able to thrive in spite of the different obligations that they may have in their life or their past. Right. For me, it took me forever to come to terms with I was the bottleneck in my own situation. I was the one who was trying to be all things to all people. And those decisions that I made had an impact in how I showed up every day for my family, my husband, community, neighbors, you name it. The list just kept on going. So now I'm able to share my journey in order to be a survival guide for somebody else to totally avoid some of the things that I was challenged with. So that's a little bit about me. I'm very intentional about meet and greets because I have learned that I collaborate with a lot of people, and the people that I collaborate with usually are people that I would not have even imagined that I would be collaborating with. Now, it's not saying that we don't have the same values or the same interests, but the situation for me has been I have met them getting out of my comfort zone, going to different places that I've never gone before, breaking out of that situation or routine of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So it's because I have been willing to try new things, to talk to new people, to go new places, that it has really expanded my brand and the number of collaborations that I have simply by being in a situation to where I am willing to um, admit what I don't know and to be curious about questioning the things that I thought I knew, if they really are true or if it was something that someone told me to keep me in a box, right? I've learned to trust myself, to trust my own intuition, and to challenge myself and other people to find out what really works for me. I realize that I'm on this journey as an individual, and the only thing I have control over is my own responses to um, maybe the things that stimulate me for a response, right? So it's up to me on how I choose to respond to those things. And I'm the only one that has the power to do that. So learning that that's my power, it has really transformed how I interact with other people and the behavior that I take on because I know that I'm accountable to me and accountable to the Lord. All right. So today's question, and this, our meet and greets usually lasts about an hour to give us time to go over the question of the day, to interact, to exchange connection information, do introductions. But, today we're just doing accelerated quick meeting here. And this is the opportunity I'm going to do most of the talking, but I welcome you to engage in the comments and share what your thoughts are about the question of the day. So, the question for today is, what are you choosing to do differently the second half of the year to improve your success for 2025? So, let me read this again. What are you choosing to do differently the second half of the year to improve your success for 2025? Now, I ask this question because, a lot of times we get to the end of the year and it's a little too late to be accountable to what we did do or what we didn't do, right? Because the year is over. There's no more time. It's New Year's Eve and you haven't got things done that you want to get done. But now we're in a space where it's halfway through the year and we can take the opportunity to reflect what's working, what's not working, who do I need to connect with? What are some things I need to be doing to support some of my goals? If I want to be a speaker and I haven't spoken, do I need to get a speaking coach? Do I need to find speaking gigs? Right? Do I need to start recording myself so that I can critique my conversations? Do I need to come up with a signature talk? Right? So these are some of the questions that we can ask ourselves this time of the year to make sure we're on track and on point for where we're headed. So a lot of times we can have our goals. Oh my gosh, I just didn't have time, or I just didn't have the resources, or this happened with my kids, and this happened with my spouse, or my job did this, they made this change, or technology did this. We can keep on with the excuses, or we can be intentional about what it is that we want to change, right? So when you ask yourself this question, there's two key words that I put in the question, and that's choosing and differently, right? So they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the outcome to be different, right? So if I keep speeding on this one road that I've gotten seven tickets on, why am I going to expect myself not to get a ticket if I keep speeding, right? I've already seen the consequences, but I'm just going on, just aimlessly doing the same thing. Now, if I'm planning to save and I keep going to the same places, spending money, who's responsible for that, right? If I want to save, maybe I need to change my behavior, or maybe I need to limit some of the things that I'm doing. So, for example, if I want to budget for a vacation, but I'm still spending money the same way that I've been spending it, right? But I want to have this vacation. I want to be able to have spending money. I want to be able to enjoy myself, but I'm not saving for it. Now, I know the vacation is coming, but then when the vacation comes, I can't enjoy it because I haven't been spending saving money, right? And it could be little things because all it takes, just like there's a snowball theory for how you can pay off debt. And the uh, concept is if you pay off a small bill and then you keep on, once that small bill's paid, then you pay the next bill and you keep going with that momentum, eventually it's going to be like an avalanche, where all the debt is just going to be knocked out, right? And so it's the same thing with savings. You can start saving in little areas and then you save somewhere else and you save somewhere else and you just keep on going until eventually you realize that you have saved more than you even imagine. Why? Because it starts with intention. There's so much about the power of starting small that a lot of times we don't even realize, right? We can start off small in little things, and it's that momentum that continues to build that eventually we look up and we have done some great things and we didn't even anticipate it. So if you're an author, you might have written paragraphs over the course of maybe 5 years, right? And one day you decide you're going to have a book. So you take those writings over the course of 5 years and the work is already done. Now, those writings might have been 15 minutes here and there. One day it might have been an hour, right? But the work was already done. It's just a matter of compiling it. So there's a lot of things that we don't understand the transformation that's actually happening because of the intention that we decide to take. So that's just an example for that. So I challenge you to think about if you keep on doing the same thing, if every year at the end of the year, you're surprised by Christmas, you end up being over budget or the things that you want to get are not available, what is it going to take for you today to do something different so that you don't have that same outcome? Because at the end of the day, it's no one else's responsibility but our own. We have the power to do something different. And if we don't plant a seed for something different, we can't be um, Pollyanna or believing in magic that it's going to happen without the seed being planted, right? So if I don't want to honor people's time in terms of getting up or being at a certain place when I say I'm going to be there, then it's not going to happen if I'm not intentional about making that a priority because nobody else can do that for me but me, right? So these questions are designed for us to think about at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where we started, how we got to where we're supposed to be. What matters is if we are really committed enough to start taking action and prioritizing for the outcome that we desire. Okay. So when you think about this question, what are you choosing to do differently the second half of the year? You still have time. Maybe it is, expanding your community, getting some different training. Maybe it's researching some of your techniques for how you do business. Maybe it's connecting on another level with your clients, finding out when their birthday is so you can send them a birthday message, right? It's little things that we can do that we can be intentional with that can turn into bigger things. Maybe it is creating, times to where you can meet and greet, with your staff or with your clients, right? Outside of just networking groups. So the thing about it that again, when it comes to marketing, It's building the know, like, trust factor with people that are doing business with you. What are some ways that you're standing out, being memorable, and that you are building on that know, like, trust, right? So if somebody said, "Hey, you know, I'm America's Supermom," and they got on video, what are some characteristics that would let you know if that person was real or not? Now, usually most people associate it with red, white, and blue. You know, a lot of the things that I do based on being America's Supermom are using those colors, right? So, what are some things that you have that are personality traits that people say, something's a little off about that? Or, oh my gosh, I just know that's whoever they're thinking it is because of these telltale signs to show who you are in the world and the marketplace. So, beginning to kind of cultivate that and thinking about it, what is your company culture? If somebody says, I can't believe, that America Supermom company, she told me that she was going to be there at 11 and she showed up at 1 o'clock, right? So if you are somebody who is timely at getting there early or right at the time, then that might be an indication. I don't know. That just doesn't seem like her character, right? So we have to begin to establish who we are by our behavior because people are going to say all kind of things, right? You may be doing the best thing ever, but somebody's always got a negative aspect of something, or it may not have worked for them, right? You might have had an off day and maybe you just got upset, blew your top, something happened, you weren't feeling good, whatever the case may be, you didn't get enough sleep, right? So these things happen because we are human, but really determining who you are and how you want to show up. That's part of that know like trust, right? Because what happens is I could say my brand stands for, integrity. It could be that I'm standing for all these different things, right? But if I'm not showing that behavior, it doesn't matter what I'm saying, right? Because my behavior is going to be the thing that's in the room. So when we know about our brand, I could say what I want to say, but the important thing is what are people saying about my brand when I'm not in the room, right? Am I somebody that they want to do business with? Do they trust me? Do they feel I'm a person of integrity? That's where it really matters because we can't do business with ourselves, right? An apple tree doesn't need apples. So understand that. I can't do business with myself. I have to do business with other people. So we have to be really cognizant of what people are thinking about our brand, what they're saying about us. Referrals are important. Do you have a rewards program? I mean, these are things that we can kind of dive into over time when we're thinking about marketing, how we're showing up. We have virtual assistants. This is a big deal where virtual assistants are helping us to shine with our productivity, but a virtual assistant is not there to take your place, right? A virtual assistant is there to support you, meaning that, it has to be genuine, the things that you might be having the virtual assistant do. So I may say, you know what, I want to get together with all my clients and can you get them together, right? I'm initiating that, but I may not actually physically be getting them together. I might need a virtual assistant to send them some emails or make some phone calls or whatever the case may be. But there's an element of me showing up that has to be there. I can't delegate that away, right? And so these are some of the things for us to consider when we think about doing things differently, because it's not always about not having the work, right? Many people see the rewards and recognition that a lot of us receive for a lot of different things, and they don't see the full picture 24/7. If you think about Kobe Bryant, we could see him being a star on the court, but we're not there all the times that he had practice, right? Most of the time, many of us were sleeping in the comfort of our beds and homes, not traveling away from our family, not in a different city, being exposed to different things, sicknesses, attitudes, right? I mean, so many things. When it's out of sight, it's out of mind. If people don't see you doing a lot of these things, it's hard for them to believe it because they create another story based on what they don't know, right? This is why content is so important. So maybe part of your plan for 2025 could be to let people in your space, meaning educating them about what it takes to do whatever it is that you do. So I had this experience one time. I have a daughter who sings. And so I just have this philosophy, oh, you know what? I'm going to support my daughter. Any place that I can get her to sing, I'm just going to volunteer and all this other stuff. So I had this time that I was going to have her sing for somebody. And so I get on the phone and I'm like, okay, at finding out what song it is and all this other stuff. And so I do all that. I go back to her and I'm thinking she's going to be so excited about this job, that I've gotten for her. Because I'm thinking, hey, experience is what matters. It's not always about the pay. Because I'm just thinking she can sing, right? So then I go back with the information and she's like, well, what music do they have? Do they have the lyrics for this song? Because I may not know the song. I have to figure out what chord it's in, if I'm going to sing it a cappella, where I can get the music. Do they have an instrumental version? She started asking me all these questions, and I was like, a deer in headlights. Why? Because I was assuming her gift of being able to sing was something that she didn't need preparation for. I just assume because she can sing, she can just get up on a dime and do what she does because I see her singing all the time. Not aware of the hours that it takes for her to learn the song, to learn the key for the type of singing that she does, right? You could have somebody who sings in an opera voice versus somebody who's a tenor, but that depends on the type of music that you get. So it was all these things that really educated me about our gifts. We still have to do the work, right? And a lot of that work is what people don't see. And when they don't see it, they think it comes easy because they're amazed at your gift and how you're able to master it. So, when you think about that, this is why content is important because you begin to educate people around the hours that it takes for you to successfully do whatever it is that you do, right? So a lot of people they say, "Oh my gosh, it's not hard for them to not believe that I have 15 children." That is really not a hard thing for people to believe because they're like, you know what? I got to believe this when I see it. So that whole mindset is common. However, when they see me on TV with my kids or in an interview, or in a picture where we're all together, that just squashes a lot of things that people may think is easy because then they have a face or they have a picture in their mind about what it takes to feed them, to think about taking them to school, to talking to each of their teachers, to uh I don't know, traveling, right? Getting them back and forth to school or even extracurricular activities, right? When you start thinking about everybody doing something, having their own place, I mean, that's a lot. So the issue is content, it matters because you help people take them on the journey of understanding what a day in your life looks like, whether it's with your business, your personal, professional, all these different things. You get a chance to control the narrative and help people understand that. Some people might question your prices that you charge, But when they're able to see, oh my gosh, okay, this is just one aspect, right? If I just was to show what it was like to be a TV producer, that's just one thing, right? That doesn't mean about, what it takes to be married, what it takes to be in the ministry, what it takes to uh, manage with the kids and the extracurricular activities they have, manage with their school, if they're getting to school on time, if they're attending school, if they're the friends that they hang out with, right? All these different things. That's just one area. So it's up to us to recognize that nobody can do that but us. We control the narrative. But with controlling the narrative take means that we have to take accountability, and we have to examine in our own lives, if we're ending up every year at the same spot, next year, I'm not going to do this, whatever that is. What part of the year are you going to change so that you don't have that same outcome? We can't blame it on other people. We can't blame it on social media. We can't blame it on our family members, the mom and dad that raised us. We have to take accountability, because at the end of the day, what you don't prioritize for gets prioritized for you, or it totally gets ignored, right? So if I don't make certain things a priority and intentional, it's not going to happen. How many times do we say, oh, you know what? I want to do better, or I want to get to know myself better, or I want to read more, right? Or I want to take more time to write, or, I want to write a book. If you're not writing, how is the book going to get done? Right? It's the little things. Maybe it starts with a couple sentences. At the end of your day, what did you learn today? Just in two sentences, right? Then over time, you look at those sentences and you're like, man, I can write a little bit longer. I can write a paragraph. What did I learn about this? Before you know it, you can have an ebook, right? Or you can have a training module for a webinar, or you could have a coaching, signature coaching plan. The list goes on, starting with a sentence or two. So, that is all that I have for today. Um, Want to thank you guys for watching. I challenge you to put your information in the chat. If you are somebody that wants to connect and collaborate, put that information in the thread of this event. You also can put in any events that you have coming up that you might want us to support. If you have any lead magnets, right? Different things that could support and give value to us as business owners, put it in the chat. And then lastly, I have a couple of announcements. It is July, and there is a Christmas in July that I have started a routine of to help people get ready for the holiday season. We get together on a call, we talk about creative gift ideas and just ways that we can get ahead of the holiday season in July. Also will be offers and a catalog of different products if you're interested in getting those early. But if you want to be a sponsor and participate in the marketing of that, I will put a link in there. And then I also have a live event this Friday where we will be doing a training on the Boards app. So I love boards. I've been a part of it for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now, but it really helps me to keep all of the different things that I have going on organized, whether it's in my personal life, professional life, or just things that are dealing with neighborhood events and things of that nature, school activities, right? So if you're interested in that, I'm also going to put that link in there. And just want to thank everybody for watching. So have an amazing July. We are now into day 7 of July, and make this month change for you in a way that's going to help you be successful and accomplish all your goals. Remember, preparation is important in order for us to have success. Success requires us to sometimes take quick action. And if we're not prepared, we're not going to be able to take that action. There's a scripture in the Bible where it talked about the 10 virgins. They were going to a wedding, and some of them didn't have oil in their lamps. So they had to go and try to get some oil. When they came back, they couldn't get in. So don't let your lack of preparation stop you from being available to take the opportunities that are necessary to help you to be successful in 2025. Have an amazing day.